Yeah, you were right. Doesn't mean a whole lot right now. I mean, hey, the whole idea is to make progress, get better every day, and try to stay in the moment. And you do that whether you're in last place and trying to build up, or whether you're, in a position where you're fighting for seeding. And ultimately, you know, we've been able to grow and get a little bit better. But I still think we can play a lot better, and that's where my focus is. And I think that we have to keep it there.
Did you have a sense coming into the season that obviously you knew heading out was going to help, but that starting five unit was going to be as successful together as it's been?
Um, yeah, I mean, I thought that would be a good unit, obviously. But I think that they really have complemented each other well. But you could see it. I remember the first exhibition game. I felt like we could all see it. Um, before that, we had the second unit giving them fits a little bit in the first couple weeks of practice, but that subsided, and I thought our guys, that starting unit's been pretty good. We haven't played very much, so still not a ton of a sample there.
And does that, Brad, just make your position at this point all that more surprising? The fact that those guys have been really good, but they haven't played a lot, and yet you guys have still managed to win a lot of games.
We've had good contributions from guys on the bench being ready to play, and sometimes not playing at all, but being ready the next day. And you have to have that. And a lot of them have been young guys, and so that's been the most encouraging thing. But we've got to play better. If we want to achieve ultimately as we enter the next month.
When you have a guy like Al Horford, who's giving you guys contributions in so many areas, but it seems lately the leadership behind the scenes stuff, it seems like that's becoming something the players are talking more about. Talk about that part of who he is and how much that helps you, particularly this time of year.
Yeah, I mean, we don't want him to be anybody other than himself. We want him to be authentic. He's not a very loud guy. He's not a very outspoken guy, but his words carry a lot of weight. And so when he does speak, everybody listens, everybody's in tune. He doesn't mince words, and he stays pretty consistent on what's most important, and that is the team success. And, I think everybody really respects him for the way that he plays, but more so for who he is.
Isaiah mentioned that this team is still playing for a lot of respect despite being near the top of the league. Is that something you step back and throughout the year kind of admire, that they've really never lost sight of playing with the chip on their shoulder?
I mean, the minute we do in a game, we get beat. The minute we don't play with max energy from the tip, we get beat. I mean, we have to play with that. If we don't, we're not good enough to be amongst the really good teams in this league. But when we do play with it, and when we do play with that toughness and that tenacity, and then we're pretty good. And the reason is because that's a large part of who these guys are and have been, and they deserve a lot of credit for that. They've been pretty consistent in that regard, not only this year, but for the better part of the last 2 years.
Has this been an easy team to coach?
Every day in coaching is a new challenge, and there's always something new. So I don't think it's ever been easy. I think it's just as hard to wake up in a 3-game winning streak and figure out how to do better the next day as it is to wake up from a 3-game losing streak and figure out how to do better. You feel a little bit better when you win, but you're also conscious of the fact there's a lot of room to grow, and there's just as much of an obstacle when you have success as when you have adversity.
How different has this season been for you, though, that I know you never asked what their best match, but just the fact that everybody's kind of able to definition in that.
No different. I mean, I feel like you try to get there every year. Some years you don't. The first couple of years it was hard to get there because they weren't the same players at the end as at the start. But we try to do our best to help people soar with their strengths, and that's good teams. I think have guys that have figured out what they do well, and these guys have been good about that. They've been good about that, all year.
Any conversations with Coach Shrewsbury about his future, possibly going to UMass?
I haven't talked to him once in the last 3 weeks ever. No, I talk to him every minute of every day. He's like one of my best friends. So, but but I'll keep those conversations between us. I don't want to. I've never commented publicly on, you know, the pursuit of other jobs or whatever the case may be. I want all of our staff to ultimately, though, use this as a great opportunity to progress their careers, and that's each person to a man, and whatever they decide is best for them, and then I want them to pursue that.
You have a pick in the final game?
No, I'm gonna stay away from that too. Sorry for all the, sorry for standing out on a limb for you there. So no, that's gonna be a fun Final Four to watch though, and it's pretty cool some of the stories that are there. It's pretty cool.